We all have influence. And so this week, I just want to challenge you to put your influence to work. This week, I just want you to ask yourself, how can I show light into the darkness in this situation? Ask yourself, how can I bring savor, a little bit of flavor to something in this situation? How can I bring a disinfecting quality to something that's really in rough shape? How can I bring a preservative to something that's in desperate need? How can I be salt and light this week? Maybe for you, it's a family crisis. It's just something's just really, really messed up, you know? I was talking to somebody not that long ago, and they were telling me that, man, in my extended family, there's this problem going on. It's been simmering for weeks, months, years. And the holidays are coming, and I'm going to have to be around those people. Maybe this holiday season is your opportunity to say, I'm going to show salt and light into that measure of dysfunction. That's just what I believe God's calling me to do. Don't know what it's going to look like yet. Don't know what I'm going to say. But I'm going to show up being salt and light into that situation. Maybe you're at work and it's policy review time. We just finished that up here. Every year here at Celebration, we go through our annual personnel policy review. And you would be so blessed by the people on your personnel team because they know the craft. I mean, they know HR. They know it really, really well. And they actually love policy. And so when we send out the policy manual to our personnel team, there are members of our personnel team that are actually giddy with excitement at receiving the personnel manual. And they're like, oh, it's my favorite time of year. And I'm like, wow, I would rather die 1,000 deaths than I have to read this whole thing. I'm so glad that you're here. God's blessings upon you, right? Maybe you're in that situation. It's policy review time. And you say to me, David, I don't know how I can be salt and light in that situation. I mean, there is this thing called separation of church and state, and I work for the state. What if just as you're reviewing your part of the policy manual, you just ask yourself, which of these policy directions best reflects the fullness and goodness of God? And just use your influence to take the policy that direction so that it better reflects the goodness and glory of God, okay? Here's another way that you can be salt and light, and this has to do with what's going on just here in the life of our church right now, because collectively we set aside the Sunday before Thanksgiving through the Sunday before Christmas as something we call the season of compassion. And over the last couple of weeks, we've just been challenging you all to show a higher degree of compassion than you might otherwise have the opportunity to do. And so the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we challenged you all to provide food for 375 families. You all provided food for over 450 families. Totally blown away. We provided over 2,000 people with their Thanksgiving meals this year. Great job. We asked you all to provide Christmas gifts for 275 kids who have a family member that's incarcerated. You guys crushed it. I'm so thankful that you all did that. You know what you were doing? You were showing salt and light in a real, touchable, practical, tangible way. And some of you might be thinking, those are great things to do, but they're quick hits, right? They're just, I go shopping, I buy it, I bring it back, I'm done. And that's true. It is a quick hit. And Christ is calling us to demonstrate salt and light in an ongoing way. And that's why this week and last week we've been challenging you to be involved in something we call family to family. Two pieces to this, two ways to be engaged. One would be to say, you know what, I will come alongside one of our families here at Celebration that's involved in fostering kids. I'll come alongside that family and I will just serve and support and help that family that's serving these kids in such a real and beautiful way. We've got some foster families in our church, you all. They're absolutely unbelievable. They've got like 5 and 6 kids in their home. And I just am blown away at what they do. Imagine what it would mean to that family if you would arrange to bring them a meal occasionally, or if you offered to babysit occasionally, or whatever it might be. So there's a way that you can do that throughout the year. You can make a commitment and kind of wrap around that foster family. Here's another way that Family to Family is working this year. We're inviting you to come along and say, I will be willing to mentor a family that is seeing someone come out of incarceration, leaving that world behind, looking to reintegrate into society. And I believe that my family could come alongside that family and just be a voice for the cause of Christ in that family. Those are two great ways. And you might be thinking, David, those are fairly sacrificial. I mean, that's an open-ended kind of commitment for throughout next year. That's a big deal. Why would I do that? Because you need to be salt and light in this world. And it's going to have an impact not only on the people that you're serving there most immediately, but it's going to have an impact on everybody around you, like your kids, like your neighbors, like your spouse, like your church family. And when people ask you, maybe one of your kids ask you, hey, why are we doing this? You can just say to them, it's a salt and light thing. It's a salt and light thing. Because I want to show the love of the Father to these folks in a way that's real and practical. And I want to influence you maybe to do the same. Because you all, when we decide that we're going to model the Father, we're not only serving the people who are on the receiving end of that, but we're also modeling what it means to reflect Christ to those who are around us. And that has a discipling effect. Parents, do you want your kids to grow up passionately following Jesus Christ? Then let them see you loving others and reflecting Jesus. Because I promise you, they are taking notes.